There's a good reason why DC now stands for Dead Company, and this is the epitome of that. So in this video, let's have a look, shall we, at exactly the evidence as to why mainstream comics are absolutely dead. Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. A few days ago, I was feeling a little bit playful. A friend of mine had skimmed through the first episode of a 6-part miniseries about HAWKGIRL, and they sent through some images as they couldn't believe what they were reading. So I took to Twitter to repost the images that they had sent me with my own little notes added. This was one of the tweets that I sent. The image, "Do not adjust your sets," is legitimate. Well, I don't want to brag, but I did just save the world? Sure. So I guess you owe me one since I, saved your life and all that? That's dialogue from a DC comic in 2023. Oh boy. So I decided to write, "I saved you, now I'm inferring I want sex for doing that." The reason why I put that, folks, is because it's current day DC 2023 comics. And before I proceed any further, this is the author of that comic. Sorry, no. Sorry, I wasn't laughing at that. I just thought of a joke. It's called DC Comics. The reason why I posted this is because the 22-year-old purple lady with the fupa is clearly going to turn out to be a lesbian and is hitting on HAWKGIRL. It's so freaking obvious. But I got community noted for that. Let's just see the community note, shall we? Oh, it's gone. It's gone because they were wrong! The lovely Jay Longbone managed to capture it, though. Go subscribe to Jay Longbone. She's absolutely hilarious. Oh no, they got you, Az, she says, as they added the community note. Readers added context. Post leads you to believe the character is requesting some sort of sexual favor in return, which is not true. Nowhere in the comic is it even mentioned nor hinted that she requested that. Why did you remove that community note? Or why was it downvoted or rated so poorly that it had to be removed? Is it because I was actually right without reading the comic? Oopsies! Now, I was also community noted on another post, which I'm quite happy to admit I made a mistake on, because I was told when I was sent the images that this wonderful character here was actually Kendra, aka HAWKGIRL, because the person who sent me the images that admittedly skimmed through the comic, couldn't recognize the difference between Kendra and this character because everyone speaks the same, acts the same, and pretty much looks the same. So while we're here, just let's read this panel, shall we? So I'm exploring who I am. I'm divorced. I'm gay. I might not be a woman. Still poking that with a stick. We'll see where I end up. It's funny. I've always admired you and your outspokenness. You always seem to know exactly who you are and what you wanted to tell the world. FYI, folks, I read that again verbatim. So the community note read, "This post is misleading. The one pictured is Abilene, a college friend of HAWKGIRL. That's a different character from the titular hero, which is never even implied to be neither gay nor trans." Wrong! You're wrong again, because as we'll see later on, this character here, Abilene, hits on HAWKGIRL, and HAWKGIRL doesn't say to her, "Sorry, not interested, I'm straight." HAWKGIRL just says, "Sorry, I'm not looking for a relationship right now," hinting that she could easily be open to a relationship with a woman. We'll see that momentarily. But forgive me, community notes, for not realizing that the woman with the shaved head wasn't actually the woman with the half-shaved head that looks identical and speaks identical to the woman with the shaved head. You know, the one that has the half-shaved head. Because diversity. I then decided to go full scorched earth because I chose violence that day and decided to give my take on the comic book industry. I decided to write some dialogue that could easily fit into a 2023 Dead Comics comic book. Hey, I'm gay. Me too. Wow, I agree with everything you say. Awesome, because I really hate Nazis. Same, but trans people are brave and amazing. Let's go get food. I know a great place run by an egg producer with a bonus hole. 10 out of 10 CBR, 10 out of 10 Kotaku. Show me the lies. Nothing. So fair is fair. So I went out and ordered the first 2 issues of this. And by ordered, I mean went to my local comic book shop and shoplifted them. Ah, now come on. I'm only joking. My local comic book shop got closed down, so I couldn't do that. Not even joking either. Well, about the comic book shop getting closed down, the shoplifting bit, that might have been... So with the help of my trusty document camera, let's just get into it. Forget the first few pages. This is where Kendra joins a fight. It's a bunch of elemental creatures here. For some reason, they decide to just talk about their feelings in front of. They have no idea who they are, where they're from, or whatever. But let's just talk about our fifis, because that's what we do. Also, Superman now speaks like a valley girl. I don't ask Batman anything I don't already know the answer to. And then they talk about the society that she's belonged to, Justice League, JSA, Birds of Prey, Totality, Black Hawks, and then like, ooh, don't mention Black Hawks, why? And Superman says, it was a whole thing? I'll tell you later. Yeah, because SoCal and all that. HAWKGIRL is smashing these elemental creatures with her Morning Star, whatever you want to call it, mace. Gets hit by lightning down here, starts falling, and is saved by Purple Woman. Yes, from hitting the ground. Apparently Superman isn't quick enough to grab her, but whatever. And then we get our cringe bit of dialogue. Well, I don't want to brag, but I did just save the world. That's an interesting opening line for somebody who, you know, never mind. Sure. So I guess you owe me since I like saved your life and all of that. She throws her mace, hits another one of the elementals and says, no, we're even. So Purple Woman makes the elemental creatures inert. Kendra shouts at her for killing them, even though she's been whacking them with her mace and Superman's been punching them and smashing them together. Even the writer brings that up. The writer's just like, yeah, but you're hitting them with a mace. Oh yeah, let's move on. So the writer's saying, I'm a shit writer and I can't think of a way to get out of this, so I'm just gonna like reference it or something. So here we go. She meets up with her with her half-shaven haired friend to go with a now short-haired Kendra, where we get her, oh my god, I'm exploring who I am, I'm divorced, I'm gay, I might not be a woman, all of that fucking horseshit. And then the next panel is Kendra at a BLM riot with a bunch of other white women, obviously, going F you cops, because current day, you know, BLM, the organization that actually was discovered to be a complete and utter fraud, and they pretty much embezzled a bunch of money to buy themselves houses and are now under investigation. Don't worry about that. Let's just carry on, shall we? Then her friend decides to hit on her for some reason. So do I have a shot then? And Kendra replies, I'm flattered, I really am, but I'm not looking for any romantic relationship right now, or any relation or any sort of relationship. So she doesn't say no, there's no chance of a lesbian relationship with you. She just says, I'm not looking for a relationship right now, and keeping the door open that it's a possibility in the future. Oopsie doopsies. I guess HAWKGIRL likes, you know, ladies now. She talks to Batman. Batman's dialogue's the only decent bit in this whole fucking comic, because she says, what do you know about Purple Girl? And Batman says, not much, and then reels out absolutely shit tons because he's Batman and he fucking prepares for everything. So anyway, Purple Girl is upset that Kendra brushed her off and goes home, yes, to a morbidly obese, black, shaven-haired, pink-haired girlfriend who's, I don't know what you're doing here, sweetheart, cosplaying Jabba the fucking Hutt. So she's like, oh my god, you weren't there. HAWKGIRL was nasty to me. Oh, you'll always be my hero. Oh, get the lesbians to kiss, obviously. It's not like she's just gonna like burst in for a sleepover and then boom, HAWKGIRL just magically appears in their apartment ready for a sleepover and a lesbian threesome, I guess. I wonder why Community Notes actually got downvoted enough or rated poorly enough that it had to be removed, or that the Community community notes themselves when, oh shit, we just read the comic and it's just full of all this shite. We have to remove our community note. What am I meant to do with this, DC? I mean, seriously, I wouldn't even line my cat's litter tray with this fucking dog shit. There's 4 main characters which are introduced in this, you could argue. Kendra, of course, the side-shaven haired, the purple-haired bint, and Jabba the fucking Hutt, with 3 of them confirmed to be lesbians, which is 75%, and Kendra possibly open to that, which makes what? 100% of your 4 main characters gay. And folk, because I don't think any of you are going to be asking for a review of issue number 2, on the second page, we get our multiracial gay couple there. Yay, because this is modern day. And then later on in the comic, we go and have a good old dance at the gay bar. Yes, because this is current fucking day DC. But what's wrong with having a gay character or 58,000? That's just the problem. This is every single fucking comic now. You're boring. You're not progressive. You're boring. You have no other story to tell because DC are bringing on cheap, tacky, talentless writers that have never experienced life other than their small little bubble. My life. What am I? What's my ideology? That's all I can fucking write about. So they can't be creative. They can't construct great stories or great characters. All they can do is self-insert. And guess what? You are so fucking boring and dull. You can't even hold a torch, a candle, a flicker of a flame to any of the writers that have come before you that established these characters for decades upon decades. But my God, you can drive them into the ground quicker than anyone else can. Narcissistical twat waffles with a big ego and low self-esteem because they always have to live with the fact they're no good. They are a token hire based upon their ethnicity, their gender, their sexuality, their representation, and they're purely there so DC or Marvel can wave them to the press that nobody fucking listens to or reads anyway, and says, look at us, aren't we so progressive and inclusive? By the way, all it took was for us to burn our companies down to the ground to pat ourselves on the back. Oh, there's no doubt a plethora of talent out there that you're not hiring because they don't fit the demographic or the ideological themes that you want them to. The most important aspect of diversity is missing. The diversity of thought. Meanwhile, you throw this absolute unmitigated garbage onto the shelves. Nobody fucking buys it. The only thing that's going to be collecting is fucking dust. If DC wasn't propped up by Warner and Disney propping up Marvel, both of these companies would be out of business by now. Even the fucking SJW twat waffles who are working for them are saying, oh, we're not making stories for customers anymore. We're making stories for future IPs that can be taken on by these companies for films and TV shows. Who the fuck's gonna watch them? Nobody's watching the dog shit which is being put out now. You think you've got the talent to create the next seminal work of the future? You can't write for shit. These will be dead. They will be forgotten, and hopefully in a few years' time, and possibly DC going out of business, people will look back and think of the last 15 or so years as just an absolute death knell for the comic book industry. Oh, and by the way, manga, don't ever stop laughing. I want to end the video though on something much more positive. Independent comics are thriving, and we all know about the juggernaut, which is Isom. The second issue just coming out, just being fulfilled as we speak. Only 2 issues, $6 million plus now raised. Tens of thousands of customers as people are looking for alternatives. If they will forgive the analogy here, the old guard, Graham Nolan, Chuck Dixon, still producing unbelievable work and working independently themselves now. And if you want to stick within the mainstream industry but veer away from the disaster zones that are DC and Marvel, you cannot go wrong with Mark Millar. The guy has been producing quality work for a couple of decades now. Big Game just coming out, tying all of his characters together in one absolutely explosive miniseries. Go check out his work. And finally, there's Blake Northcott. I came across her work as she wrote Catwoman 23 and 24 with the art done by Sean Gordon Murphy. And she's taken her book, North Valley Grimoire, and converted it into a mini-series with 3 issues of the 5 out at the moment. And I've been really enjoying it so far. A very fun comic with well-written characters, an engaging story, and guess what? Ideology free. So yes, another big recommend. Go pick it up from your local comic book store. So comics can survive and can thrive. They just need to get away from the big 2 right now, completely disassociate themselves from it, and actually craft stories and characters that people want. Let DC, let Marvel bury themselves in this quagmire of ideological shit. It'll get them nowhere, because these comics, these books they're producing, they're not going to keep the company afloat, and Warner will eventually pull the plug on this absolute catastrophe. Believe me, they'll just farm out the IP to other people, and it will be bye-bye DC Comics, and they will have nobody to blame but themselves. I'll see you in the next video. You take care. Bye for now.